300-pounder.
1, 2.
You saw Naito counting along with referee Slick Johnson, but only 2. They want more than anything to take these championship belts back home.
Now give Homicide credit, and he was in there just in time to break that up, and he didn't have much left to do it with. But I'll tell you something, this has been amazing how these guys have concentrated on Hernandez, and No Limit seems to have the secret. Oh, I tell you what, that was just the strength and the willpower of Hernandez getting the shoulder up at that time.
Motor City Machine Guns trying to get back into this matchup. Elevated over goes Sabin and powered down to the mat. And now high risk coming, high risk move on the way as Yujiro's up on top, diving headbutt, nobody home.
He missed, but on Chris Sabin, it just showed unbelievable intestinal fortitude to get out of the way of a situation. The longer this goes, though, you got to figure the Guns are going to get themselves back in it. Naito just took a real risky move.
Twisting moonsault missed. Homicide was going to go up to the top as well. Then Shelley came over and cut him off. Sabin is now back up into this match. Both of the Guns are back on their feet, and they're going to try and get some offense going here.
I'll tell you, though, it's great to see the Guns standing tall as you see both of them now on the top rope. Situation where it looked like they were going to be out of it. Now you can see them. You talk about ultimate teamwork. Yujiro took it. This is it. Oh, Hernandez just in time.
Sabin used Shelley, his own partner, as a weapon, and Shelley tries to fight off Hernandez with the series of elbow shots to the side of the head. How about that?
I mean, it's just
half Nelson suplex, tossed him all the way across the ring. Homicide's up on the top rope over here right in front of us, Don.
I'll tell you, though, No Limit, though, able to take that as Homicide, though. Nice drop kick. But No Limit's one of them that every time you turn around, they seem to have an answer for Hernandez. They seem to have an answer for the teamwork of LAX. I mean, they've been awful impressive in this matchup.
They may be the most effective team, although I'd probably give the nod to LAX just because of the power moves of Hernandez to this point.
Keep in mind, though, that neither one of those teams are the ones wearing those belts. And that's the Guns, and they just wait for their opportunity, and they took it there as Homicide just got knocked into oblivion. And now look at the kicks. They just took Hernandez down, and the Guns are on fire.
I thought once that Homicide hit the 187 that LAX were going to become the New Japan Junior Tag Team Champions. Not the case. Sabin and Shelley double team move on Naito in the corner. Sabin motions to the crowd here in Philly that it's time to put away No Limit and keep the belts. Here it is, made in Detroit.
That's how you do it, and it's done. Done.
Your winners and still New Japan Junior Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns.
Combination sliced bread powerbomb. They call it the Made in Detroit, and the Motor City Machine Guns, they've done it again. They're still New Japan Junior Tag Team Champs.
Where you got to give them credit, Mike, is their survival. They took everything that Big Hernandez could give them. We've got to look at some of the action in this matchup here if we could, because this was absolutely all that we thought it would be. I mean, how about the combination there by LAX?
It's going to be tough to pick the highlights in this one. There were so many of them, like that power move by Hernandez sending Sabin first into the side of the cage, and then his Guns partner Shelley.
But let's not forget one thing. Tonight is about survival. And if there's one thing I know how to do, Lauren, it's survive. From the time that my father abused me, time and time again, to the time that they deemed me mentally unfit and put me away. Tonight, Matt, I'm gonna take everything you have to dish out until...
The 6 sides of steel cage is a very dangerous place. Locked inside with an opponent, there is no place to run and no place to hide. It can quickly become a dreaded fortress of brutality and violence. For others, the confinement of the cage can be an advantage. Some twisted individuals feel right at home. For Abyss, the cage signifies normalcy in his tortured mind. A place.
Match at TNA Lockdown is a Doomsday Chamber of Blood match scheduled for one fall. In this match, a wrestler cannot win until his opponent is bleeding. Introducing first from Fairfield, Connecticut, Top Blueprint, Ted Morgan.
Don't confuse this for a first blood match. Yes, your opponent has to be bleeding first, but at that point, once your opponent is bleeding, as we see the Blueprint Matt Morgan tossing a steel chair over the top of the cage, at that point going forward, then you can beat him by pin or submission, but only then.
Well, you can see the Blueprint. He's just looking for anything that he might be able to use to get that blood flowing, get that blood started. You know, that's the thing about the steel cage. Sometimes
what did he just take in with the chair? What is that? What's in that
sure.
bag?
I don't know.
His opponent stands 6 feet 8 inches tall. He weighs 350 pounds. He is the Monster
When the tag team of the Blueprint Matt Morgan and the Monster Abyss was formed, I think we saw in that team the potential to dominate a tag team division, but honestly, realistically, they just never got on the same page, and it's been hell to pay in warfare ever since the split. Look out for that chair.
Well, I'll tell you what, Abyss never got on the same page. I think Matt Morgan knew the direction he wanted to go. Abyss is just so, his mind is just so torn apart on whether he's supposed to be violent, whether he's not supposed to be violent. He's seeing therapists. He doesn't even know who he is. I mean, you know, Matt Morgan, it should have been an incredible tag team. It should have been a team that we talked about and maybe in a championship match tonight. And I don't blame Matt Morgan for being angry because, I mean, what could have been is not. Now he has a chance to take it out and make Abyss bleed.
Well, we heard Warren in the back talking to Abyss and trying to talk about this matchup here and the problems that he's had with Dr. Stevie, the therapist that you mentioned. And I just don't know that Abyss really is going to be focused on the task at hand until he reconciles with that use of the weapons or not. And not in a match like this, you've got to use them.
Well, you
if
have
you're going to survive, if you're going to win this match.
I mean, we've always sat and talked about Abyss going back to the Abyss that we saw come into TNA, that Abyss that would do anything and everything and put it all on the line. We've seen part of that here as of late, but again, he's just conflicted at all times. One thing about it, Matt Morgan has a direction he wants to go. I mean, this guy's such an incredible athlete, almost 7 feet tall. I mean, you can just look at him and realize what he's all about. And this is a situation here. He just wants to just punish Abyss so that he can move on.
Side slam for Abyss, and you notice the hesitation. He sees the steel chair, but it's almost as if you can think what's going on and read his mind at this point as he picks up the steel chair. But he hesitates, he thinks about, and that hesitation comes back to haunt him. I was just going to say that he thinks about those sessions on the couch with Dr. Stevie, his therapist, trying to convince him not to use the weapons. He picks it up, but that moment of indecision comes back to haunt him with the big boot from Matt Morgan.
Well, that's why they couldn't work together. I mean, Morgan couldn't trust him. He couldn't trust him to be there with him fully. That was a situation where the old saying, he who hesitates is lost. That was a situation there with Abyss. He had the chair in his hand. He could have turned around, whacked Big Matt Morgan on the head with it, but he didn't do it. Now, right here in this situation, Matt is just taking the chair, throwing it out of the ring. Now, what is he planning to do with that? I don't know. One can only imagine.
That's what I'm going to presume. You tell me, but I'm thinking it's so Abyss can't use it as a weapon to open up Matt Morgan.
Either that or he's planning on doing something spectacular to bust Abyss's head open with it. And I'll tell you what, though, when he kicked the chair into Abyss's head, he busted Abyss wide open.
Now you can see it. I couldn't
and that's
see
what
it.
That's what it was all about. He didn't need the chair anymore.
That's what it was.
There you go. He didn't need the chair anymore as Abyss is bleeding like a stuck pig. And now Matt Morgan can go for the pin.
It's actually very sound strategy on the part of the Blueprint. And boy, the blood is flowing. And taking a 350-pounder and throwing him against the side of the cage like that, follow cover in the pin. And the beautiful part about this for the Blueprint Matt Morgan is he can't be pinned or he can't submit because he's not bleeding, Don.
No, and you wonder the longer this goes, the blood loss that Abyss is going to deal with. I mean, Matt Morgan, what an incredible move. Able to do it early on. And it was that situation where Abyss had the chair in his hand. It could have been the other way around. He hesitated, and you saw that carbon footprint into the chair to make sure that it landed into the face, and it just hit him just right and cut him open. Oh, nice drop kick.
Isn't that amazing? The elevation that the 7-footer gets, a 300-pounder, a picture-perfect drop kick like that. There's a reason he's got the nickname The Blueprint as Morgan goes for the cover and has the far leg hook, but Abyss is able to kick out at 2. We've said it from the time that he made his debut here in TNA. You get an architect to draw up the perfect wrestler, you end up with the Blueprint Matt Morgan.
Now look at him just going right after that cut, that incision that he created earlier, just pounding him, getting that blood on the hand. That's a great shot, the blood on the hand there, as you can see it on the Blueprint Matt Morgan, and it's just driving him forward, and now he goes for that bag. And we're gonna find out what's in it. There we've seen the tacks, we've seen broken glass, a lot of things that make you bleed. And keep in mind, the only blood on Matt Morgan is the Monster Abyss's. That's not his own. So the only one right now that can get the win, of course, is Matt Morgan. Oh, it's glass. Holy cow. Look at those shards.
The broken glass spread in the ring by the Blueprint Matt Morgan. The blood flowing freely from the head of the Monster Abyss. And now it's not a case of trying to beat him. Now it's not a case, Don, of trying to win this Doomsday Chamber of Blood match. It's about inflicting some more pain and punishment. He's not going to try and put him face first in there.
Look at the glass. The blood just pouring out of the head on top of the glass. Oh, my. That's a visual there. Matt Morgan just totally doing what he wanted. And that's just, you know what? That's just what he's got to do. Matt Morgan is just inflicting his will on Abyss. Just inflicting it. Look at that blood. Now he's holding the glass in his hands.
It's a spectacular yet sickening sight at the same time. The big piece of glass in the hand of the Blueprint Matt Morgan. Potential to use it as a weapon. Taunting Abyss.